Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little bit of classic beer here in the form of Jever Pilsener. This be a German Pilsner, crisp bitterness, hoppy flavor, dry finish. It has been forever since I've had this beer, but I was at a Wegmans and there was they had some intriguing stuff in a mix of six. I was like, oh, because every now and then I'll get like an intriguing mix of six options, like an old stock in there. I was like, huh? Why is there an old stock mix of six? Anyway, picked a couple things, saw this and went, perfect. Let's review this, because it's a nice little way to get like 6 bangers to review real quick. Well, probably half of those I'll review. Anyway, this is a ABV wise. We're talking about, I do not know, 4.9%. That's all we get, man. Everything else is written on the back here in German, outside of government warning, and imported by. Let's see, it was produced in 2024, in July. So it says here July best by July 2025. We're done. I really like this label. Friesisches Brauhaus. Yeah, I like this label. I like it. I'm here for it. Bottle opener. Here we go. Weekend, the first weekend, I should say. We're going into Skunky, a nasally kind of neutral thing since I got sick over a month ago. I'm infinitely excited. So we'll see where this sucker lands. So yeah, definitely dealing with a little bit of skunkiness. You're talking about a decent amount of skunkiness. Talking about it, a several-month-old green bottled Pilsner that calls itself out being hoppy from a distance. All the hoppy, all the skunky stank. I don't mind a little skunkiness now, to be honest with you. Index finger, nice kind of frothy, kind of larger, not ultra tight bubbled kind of head on it. Soft kind of champagne-like carbonation. In the we're pulling hairs here, or nitpicking like crazy, of haze. It's not hazy, but it's not crystalline clear kind of. So in German, and all Germanness, they would call that hazy. It's not hazy. But yeah, it looks all the part of a Pils. Let's get a whiff. It really is hard to get past the skunkiness on here. There's a little bit of kind of melon hops that I typically get with like a German style Pils. It's probably like a Hallertau, something along those lines. And then a sweet maltiness that actually comes off pretty beefy to the point where it comes off slightly like a kind of adjuncty, like corny. I don't think that's the case here. Could be a little bit of dimethyl sulfide, something like that. Or, no, it would be dimethyl sulfide. It's corn. Sometimes I even get confused. But it doesn't smell bad. I mean, like you said, some people might be off-put by that skunkiness left behind by that green bottle. It's honestly something that doesn't really bother me all that much, but it's just very, very prominent here, so enough to talk about. Sweet little maltiness comes off slightly corny, and then you have a little bit of kind of hot presence behind it. Let's just dive in. Cheers. Skunkiness aside, that drink's pretty damn good, to be perfectly honest with you. I get no DMS on there. I get a nice hoppy punch. That little bit of skunkiness falls through, and that aromatic you tend to get when you drink the beer. And really is a crisp, clean beer. Walk it back. Clean. As far as drinkability, not necessarily that skunkiness. That would initially be like, hey, that's skunkiness is not really clean. But as far as the brew goes, I mean, that skunkiness is just a light struck hops. Doesn't really have do much with the way the beer's kind of coming off, or it could be a kind of a thing this brewery is known for. I don't know. Like I said, it's been so long since I had a Jever. I do know they make this in cans, so maybe I'll pick up one of those and do a little bit of personal research to see what's what. But outside of that, man, if you're not really all that kind of, I don't want to use the word susceptible or give a shitable about a bit of skunkiness in your beer. I mean, there's so many different flavors and hops nowadays, it almost becomes like some kind of secondary hoppy thing. I don't mind it. And honestly, this beer, outside of that, if you were just kind of talking about drinkability, well-madeness, all those kind of things, I think it comes off as a nice crisp. Let's talk about that crisp kind of German Pilsner. This is one of the crispier boys I've had from Germany. They tend to be a little bit, in Austria and that whole kind of area, even Czechia, they tend to have a little bit more heft to them. This one is quite a bit lighter, quite a bit more crispy. You still get that relatively large hop presence, that decent malt base that isn't too sweet. I thought it might go there a little bit with that little corny vibe on the nose. I think that was just a blow-off aromatic thing. And comes off as a nice chugger beer. Let's put it that way. I really want to drink a can now to see how big of a difference it is from a can to light penetrating glass. In the grand scheme of things, you roll up to my barbecue with a 6 of these, probably drinking half of them. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I dig it. I like it. I think it's fun. Even with that skunkiness in there, it's not going to really get me all hot and bothered. This whole thing is going to go down pretty damn easy. So let's stop that. Is it one of the better Pilsners I've had? I was like, yeah, sure, fine. It's not Mount Rushmore status. I'm not sitting here kind of singing its praises as far as one of the best Pilsners I've had. But I do like it. And, you know, if you were to remove that decent amount of skunkiness from here, I think I might just eke it a little bit more towards the top. Just because even though that doesn't bother me, it does disconnect you a little bit from the beer. So take that for what it's worth, but a tasty beer nonetheless outside of that skunkiness for those people that really get too hot and bothered over it. Value and availability, it was in a mix of sixer. I'm assuming this is probably going to come in at 10 to sub $10 a sixer and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like just crispy old school pills, you will dig this. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out in the social media stuff. Beer Massif for the podcasting stuff. And Jever, have you been to their brewery? The, what is it? The Friesisches brewery. Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? Thoughts down below, especially if you've had it like hyper fresh or had it out of a can. Do you really get that kind of skunky characteristic that is pretty prominent in this one? All that fun stuff down there. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying old school beer right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.